And you are very, very busy now as Prime Minister, and our time is almost up. But you say you coming to power will be the biggest change this country's seen in 4 decades. Thing is, 25,000 people voted for you in Makerfield. The 48 million people in the electorate in this country haven't had a chance to have a say on any of your plans. Do you rule out having a general election before 2029?
Well, there you go. This is GB News Originals. I'm Emily Carver. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And do leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
There's no early general election. And the thing I would say to you is 20 plus, how many million people you just mentioned, voted for a manifesto. We're in a parliamentary democracy. So that is what people voted for. And I will honour that manifesto. And you know, obviously I have faced the public in Makerfield. At the time I stood forward in the by-election, people would say, oh my goodness, that constituency voted reform in May, that's a risk. I went and faced the public and I went out onto those doorsteps. So, you know, I have done that. I've got the support of colleagues in Parliament, and it's a parliamentary democracy that we're in.
Rule it out?
Well, I'm going to rule it out. Yeah, there's no early general election. I don't think people want it. You know, the opinion polls might say there's some people do, some people don't. But the thing is, I just think what I most need to do is get Britain focused on getting the country back where it should be, getting it working.
Welcome to Britain Underneath, where we look past the official press releases to analyse the real power plays shaping modern British politics. If you appreciate sharp, elevated political commentary, do take a moment right now to subscribe to the channel. Your support truly helps us expand our reach, so please stay with us until the very end of this breakdown. Now, let's wade into the strategy behind the headlines. The debate over election timing exposes the deep strategic calculations occurring inside both major parties. On one hand, a new Prime Minister naturally seeks time to bed in policies, demonstrate stability, and distance the government from recent political turmoil. Ruling out a snap election gives the appearance of a calm leader focused on delivery rather than party political gains. However, seasoned political observers recognise that election dates in the United Kingdom are rarely decided purely by civic duty. They are dictated by political momentum, economic indicators, and public sentiment.
And here to speak for the Conservatives this morning, as so often, is the Shadow Home Secretary Chris Phil. Many times on this show. Chris, can we just start with your reaction to the news overnight from Berlin?
Good morning, Trevor. Well, it's horrifying that once again in Germany we see innocent people, in this case at a Pride march, but it's happened at Christmas markets and so on as well, being mown down by a vehicle. Injuries, I think at least one fatality, maybe more. Truly terrible and shocking. Police have said they're looking for a man with Islamist links. So once again, deeply concerning that Germany has been hit with Islamist terrorism, it would appear from the German police's early reports.
Well, we don't want to presume too much, but thank you for that. One other piece of news which is emerging this morning, which is that in another place, Andy Burnham has ruled out an early election. You must be relieved.
Well, first of all, we are completely ready for an election whenever it comes. Bring on the fight, as far as I'm concerned. I would take his claim...
You're 6 points down on both Reform and Labour Party.
Well, I mean, the most recent polls are pretty close to a three-way tie if you look at the margin of error within opinion polls. So bring it on as far as I'm concerned. We're ready for the fight. I would take his claim with a little pinch of salt, though, because Andy Burnham is a political opportunist, as we have recently seen, and as Keir Starmer has rather painfully discovered. So if Andy Burnham gets a sniff that he might do OK, I'm pretty sure this ruling out an election would rather rapidly get reversed. So I would say watch this space when it comes to opportunist Andy.
When you say political opportunist, I mean, that's what we used to call a tautology, isn't it? I mean, it's a perfectly reasonable thing for him to decide that he wants to have an election if he thinks he can win it.
Well, I mean, he's saying he won't have an election. I'm saying the truth is he probably would if he thought it would suit him. And he certainly lost no time in sticking the knife into poor old Keir Starmer. That was certainly an act of political opportunism, if ever I saw one.
All right, well, the issue of prisons has been much on everybody's mind this week. You left this government with a quandary, what to do about overcrowded prisons, and you, to some extent, inherited it as well. Do you think they were right to implement the early release programme and right to pause it?
Well, they were certainly not right to legislate for it in the way they did. When this bill was going through Parliament a few months ago, we Conservatives warned time and time again that the way they had framed it would result in rapists getting let out early. It would result in people who had been grooming gang perpetrators getting let out early. And grooming gang, rape gang victims are now saying they are terrified to leave their house for fear that their perpetrator will get released back onto the streets early. We warned about all of this when the bill was going through Parliament, but the Labour government ignored us. And they were certainly wrong to do that, no question.
Well,
When asked about the prospect of an early ballot, the Shadow Home Secretary argued that opposition parties are fully prepared for a fight, regardless of the timing. Pointing to shifting poll margins, the opposition contends that the public deserves a fresh mandate, particularly as major policy debates over infrastructure, public spending and legal reform continue to dominate national discourse. Dismissing the ruling out of an election as simple opportunism is a deliberate tactic to paint the government as hesitant, keeping ministers on the defensive while maintaining high campaign readiness within opposition ranks. Beyond the immediate tactical skirmishes lies a broader question about how political mandates are viewed in contemporary Britain. When leadership changes occur mid-term, pressure inevitably mounts from opposition benches and minor parties calling for an immediate general election to test public approval. Every incoming leader faces this dilemma: seek an early mandate to secure a personal backing, or focus on steadying the ship while risking accusations of avoiding the electorate. In a political landscape where voter loyalties are fluid and minor parties are carving out significant support, holding the line on election timing becomes a delicate balancing act.
the Conservative Party.
Well, I wouldn't say that is Stalinist. Look, I think there are some issues.
Yeah,
Trevor, hang on. There are some. Let me answer the question.
Let me answer the question. Used to be the Conservative Party.
Let me answer the question. There are some issues that are so important and so fundamental to our political programme that they are not negotiable. And leaving the ECHR, reforming welfare is another, and net zero are so foundational. We can't have any Conservative candidate or MP at the next election not supporting those, because otherwise the public might elect a Conservative majority. I hope they do. I expect they will elect a Conservative majority. But imagine it's only a small majority, 20 or 30. If our programme in government was then not delivered because a handful of Conservative MPs wouldn't back it, the public would be rightly disappointed.
Well,
and that is why, let me finish, on these very fundamental issues, leaving the ECHR, stopping net zero and welfare reform, it's not negotiable. The public have to be certain that when they elect a Conservative MP and a Conservative government, we're going to deliver what we say.
Yeah, but this is not theoretical. I looked up the membership of what's called the Conservative Environment Network. There are many MPs who are members of that, and it backs net zero. It includes shadow cabinet members James Cartledge, Helen Whately, Victoria Atkins, Mims Davis and Rebecca Harris, and the chairman of the Conservative Party, Kevin Hollingray. On what you've just said, all of them are going to be looking for new jobs.
Well, I don't think that's true, because
either it's true or it's not true. Either you're stacking them or you're not.
Well, I think that all those people you just mentioned, who are shadow cabinet colleagues, I've sat in a room with them in the last few weeks.
Beyond the immediate tactical skirmishes lies a broader question about how political mandates are viewed in contemporary Britain. When leadership changes occur mid-term, pressure inevitably mounts from opposition benches and minor parties calling for an immediate general election to test public approval. Every incoming leader faces this dilemma: seek an early mandate to secure a personal backing, or focus on steadying the ship while risking accusations of avoiding the electorate. In a political landscape where voter loyalties are fluid and minor parties are carving out significant support, holding the line on election timing becomes a delicate balancing act. Meanwhile, both major parties are working tirelessly behind the scenes to solidify their platform appeals. The opposition is sharpening its focus on core traditional principles, insisting that future political candidates commit to firm stances on international human rights frameworks, welfare reform, and energy policy. This strategy aims to draw clear blue water between competing political movements, presenting voters with an undeniable ideological choice when the polling stations finally open. For the government, the focus remains on demonstrating tangible progress in public services to convince an increasingly sceptical electorate that stability is preferable to another round of campaign rhetoric. Ultimately, whether an early election materializes or the government holds out for its full term, the political machinery of the country is already moving onto a war footing. Statements ruling out early votes are part of a long-standing Westminster ritual, but history shows that political promises often yield to strategic advantage when the opportunity arises.
Months. And they've unequivocally supported
Well,
the policy programme.
They better get their
out.
names off the website of the Conservative Environment Network, shouldn't they?
Well, I don't know what the policies of the Conservative Environment Network are, or indeed how historic.
I'm telling you, to support net zero.
Or I mean, it's probably rather historic. I'm not familiar with the group.
No, I looked it up yesterday.
Okay,
it's not historic.
I don't know how historic their policies are, but I do know that all the people whose names you just mentioned, I've sat around the Shadow Cabinet table with in the last few weeks, and we have all together unequivocally supported the three policies that we just mentioned.
You are keen to emphasise that this is a new Conservative Party. Some people would say, yeah, it's a new Conservative Party. And some people would say...
And by the way, isn't Kemi doing well?
And other people would say, why don't you call yourselves...
You avoided the question.
Because this is an interview. My job to ask the question, yours to answer them. And my question is this a Conservative Party or is it Reform Light?
No, we're a completely different party to Reform. We have serious and credible policies. We think things through before we say them. And when we announce a policy, the public know it's been properly thought out. I'm afraid to say that is not the case with Reform. They have, great slogans, I'll give them that, but they don't have serious, credible policies that have been thought through, and nor is the Conservative Party embroiled in various financial scandals. None of us have taken a £5 million personal gift from a Thailand-based crypto billionaire, and none of us rely on a convicted fraudster as our right-hand man, which appears to be the case with this George Cottrell character.
I gave you a couple of free hits there, but I'm now going to, speaking of slogans, take back control of this interview. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you, Trevor.
Take a breath, stay informed, and please subscribe to Britain Underneath to help the channel continue producing detailed, independent analysis of British politics. Your subscription genuinely supports our work, so do consider hitting the button to join our growing community. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for our upcoming coverage.